But now we're joined by a proper superstar on the show.
I'm an average guy, more than average. This is my dream. Nobody was taking this away from me.
Bisping would never say no. Bisping is a fighter. This is what he was born to do.
Michael always been an underdog all his life, and he proved everybody wrong. I wanted to be like him.
Good news! That's it! UFC middleweight champion of the world!
When you're young and you've had a couple of lagers, you end up getting into a few scraps.
What's your tipple? Me, lager. Ooh, you're hard, showing off.
I'm delighted to welcome a UFC legend and superstar to drive time, former middleweight champion of the world, the wonderful Michael Bisping joins us. Hello, Michael. Good evening to you.
Thank you for having me. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. You probably won't remember this, Michael, but I met you and interviewed you about 10 years ago when I was doing stuff at MUTV. We met in a hotel foyer. You were doing lots and lots of interviews. You won't remember me.
Oh, come on, mate. How could I forget? It was the greatest day of my life.
I lent you a tenner that day. Do you remember that as well, Michael?
Funnily enough, I forgot all about that.
Okay. Lucky for you, I won't be coming after. Listen, thank you so much for coming on. A real pleasure. We've got lots to talk to you about. We have to start though. I have to start talking about you're coming back to the UK in December with Tales from the Octagon 2. Tell us a bit more about this.
Yeah, that's right. So I never thought I'd be doing something like this, but 2 years ago, I did a tour called Tales from the Octagon. We went around various cities, London, Birmingham, Manchester, etc. And basically, it was me doing a one-man show, if you will. It was a tremendous turnout. We had 3,500 people in Manchester, and everybody loved it. And backed by popular demand, you could say, type thing. A lot of people were asking. So this time I'll be talking about other people's tales. So I'll be joined on stage. I'll come out. I'll tell some anecdotes. It'll be an interactive thing with the audience. You know, we'll do some Q&As. Then Tom Aspinall, who's doing tremendous things. I think he'll be the next heavyweight champ. He'll join me on stage as well. And then Scotland's Paul Craig. As I say, we'll get a little bit silly. We'll have some laughs. Talk about their fight careers, a Q&A with the audience, and then a meet and greet afterwards. So that is December 14th in London at the Indigo at the O2, December 16th at the Manchester Apollo. And if you want to come out and see the show, myticket.co.uk, Tales from the Octagon 2.
Michael, let me ask you, I remember seeing Mike Tyson do this, and when I love Mike Tyson, one of my favourite boxers of all time, but when I watched it, I felt a little bit uncomfortable, purely from the angle of, it's almost like a stage show, like he's remembering his lines, and you've got to deliver them like an actor would, rather than it just sound like it's just rolling off the tongue. How do you feel? Because you're completely out of your comfort zone doing this, I would imagine.
Yeah, let me tell you, last time out, I got in the best shape I'd been in for quite some time, because I had so many sleepless nights that, I was having dreams that people were getting up and walking out of the theatres and stuff like that. So, yeah, a little bit out of my comfort zone. But to be honest, most of it was off the cuff. Yes, I had an idea of where I was going to go, etc. But as I say, with the audience interaction and them shouting out and things like that, a lot of it was just freestyling. Now, I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I do a lot of podcasting and stuff like that, and I've always been a little bit silly. So yeah, a lot of it will be off the cuff. We'll be having a good laugh, as I say. And this time I've got two guests to lean on as well. Last time it was just myself for 2 hours. I was terrified. But this time I've got Tom and Paul to lean on. So shouldn't be quite so many sleepless nights.
Obviously, Michael, the first one was popular. This is obviously Tales of the Octagon 2. Is this something that you could continue to take forward?
Yeah, that was never the plan at the time, but you never know. We might be doing another one next year, so we'll see how it all goes down. I mean, the first one was, people loved it. The feedback was tremendous, and I could tell the audience were really into it. So, yeah, people, were reaching out saying I should do another one. The promoter came to me with a great offer. So, yeah, I'm doing that again, and we'll see how this one goes, one step at a time. But the thing with mixed martial arts and the combat sports world in general, there's so many things going on. There's so many storylines storylines and, that you can have a laugh about. So that's kind of what it is. If you're into combat sports, boxing, mixed martial arts, etc., and you want to come and, have a laugh at other people's expense, then come along.
I'd love to come down. Is there like a VIP area? Because I'm not insured to be with the public.
Well, you can get that tenner off me when you're backstage.
Okay.
But,
yeah, I'm going to ask for
yeah,
that.
there will be VIP tickets available. All you got to do is head over to myticket.co.uk, mate, unless you're too cheap to actually buy a ticket. If that's what you're trying to do, come on, mate. I'll sort you a ticket. I might know someone in charge.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, while we've got you, I want to get your view on... why are you laughing?
You know I'm laughing.
No, there's a big fight weekend from UFC's Fight Island in Abu Dhabi this spring. There's a world lightweight title fight on the line. Both fighters have very long surnames, so I'm not even going to go there. But
no, have a go.
Islam is fighting Alexander. They're the first names. Benny, do you want to take the surnames?
Makachev.
Yeah, bless you.
And Volkanovski.
Wow, almost not bad. Mahachev. You don't pronounce the K, just like Habib and Volkanovski. There you go.
But what I was going to ask, I think I'm right in saying both of these main fights this weekend have had standing opponents. Is that right? What's happened there?
Yeah, that's right. So Volkanovski was supposed to take on Charles Oliveira. That was going to be a rematch. Sadly, Charles Oliveira suffered a cut in training. So the pound-for-pound number one fighter on the planet steps up on 12 days' notice. Oh. Alexander Volkanovski. He's the featherweight champ. These guys did fight back in February this year in Australia. They had a really, really tremendously close fight. Very exciting fight. Volkanovski, I mean, you've got to respect this guy. 3 months ago, he had surgery. 1 month ago, he had a child. And now, on 12 days' notice, he's flying from Australia to Abu Dhabi to take on a guy that already beat him in a close fight. Wow. So I'm excited for that one. Hamzat Chimaev was the co-main event. He was taking on Paulo Costa. Costa got what's called a staph infection, so had to have surgery. And now we have the former pound-for-pound number one, Kamaru Usman, a long-time welterweight champion, stepping up on short notice, going up to middleweight, taking on Hamzat Chimaev. So UFC 294, yeah, it's going to be a tremendous event. I'm looking forward to it.
Michael, speaking of Usman, I mean, listen, he had back-to-back losses against Leon Edwards. What do you think he's got left in the tank? Could he win this fight?
Yeah, well, that's the real question. Certainly Leon Edwards knocked him out cold. And then in the rematch that we saw in London last year, Usman wasn't himself, and I guess to be fair in his defense, he was stepping up in there, stepping back in the cage against Leon, who had just knocked him out. And, you know about this. Fighters can get a little gun shy when they get knocked out. Certainly when straight away they go back in against that guy. So this is the question. What has he got left? Does he still have it? 36 years old. Is he slowing down? I guess the reality is, though, for him, he's been told if he can beat Hamzat Chimaev, he gets to fight against Sean Strickland, who's the new middleweight champion. And a few years ago, 2017, I think it was, Kamaru Usman wiped the floor with Sean Strickland. So there's certainly a lot of motivation there for him. But at 36 years old, with the dodgy knees that he has these days, does he still have it? I guess it makes it a great storyline coming into this one.
It certainly does, Michael. One of the things I love about the UFC, they don't have in boxing. If you've got a big boxing fight that's happening, someone's got to pull out with 48 hours notice. It's usually the fellow that's head of security that steps in. But in UFC, all these fighters are like top level fighters, all ranked in the top 10, sometimes in the top 5 as well. So you're always getting a really, really tough fight to call, aren't you?
Yeah, no, listen, it's phenomenal what the UFC were able to pull off at such short notice. I will say this, the head of security for the UFC is a guy called Steve, former SAS guy, and I wouldn't want to tangle with him because he looks like something straight out of Snatch or Lockstock. But yeah, the UFC, listen, I'll say it, I'm biased. Call me what you want. It's the greatest fight promotion on planet Earth, and only them could pull this off, where the main and the co-main event fall apart, and then we get, in many ways, an even better fight in both events. So, yeah, it's incredible what
Mike,
they did.
Didn't you step in with 2 weeks' notice to become champion?
That is correct, my friend. Yeah. 2 weeks.
Wow. So you guys are always waiting for that phone call, right?
No, not really.
Oh.
I certainly wasn't.
What shape were you in when you got the call? What were you doing?
Yeah. No, I was on a movie set in Toronto. I hadn't been near a gym in about 3 months. I mean, I was doing a little jog in the morning to stay, I want to look trim on camera and all the rest of it. But you got to roll that dice when opportunity knocks.
Do you know what, Mike? I remember that now. I've seen your documentary. I was talking about that in our meeting earlier. It's a fantastic documentary. And that's all in that, isn't it? I remember there's images of you on that set when you get in the call. I remember now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Bisping, if anyone hasn't seen it.
Yeah, it's
which
great.
Is a very arrogant titling name documentary. I never thought of that, but still, if you want to check it out, there it is.
It is. Can I just say, not just because Michael's on with us now, but I love a sports doc, and it is up there with some of the best I've seen. It's brilliant. It really is great.
Thank you.
It really is great.
Thank you.
Mark, I want to ask you about the crossover, Fury versus Ngannou in Saudi Arabia, 28th of October. Now, I'm guessing you'd have seen a lot of Ngannou. Do you give him much chance in this fight?
I mean, look, listen, Francis Ngannou has incredible power. So, and as we know in heavyweight boxing, one shot can change everything. But Tyson Fury, I think he's 33, right? He's 33 and 0-1, so he's undefeated. He's incredible. He moves so well. He's incredibly fast. His reflexes are ridiculous. He can take a good shot as well, and he can land a good shot. Francis Ngannou, I don't think he's ever boxed before. Yes, we throw punches in mixed martial arts, but not to the level of a high-level boxer, and certainly not somebody like Tyson Fury. So I think in the first round or two, he might be dangerous. I think if I'm Francis Ngannou, you can't play a strategic match. You know, you can't go out there and look for openings and all the rest of it. If I was him, if I was Francis Ngannou, I would try and engage in a clinch, force him into the corner, and then just swing for the fences. Because if he tries to use the strategic approach, he's not going to hit anything but fresh air, and Tyson Fury will have a field day. Now, maybe Tyson is underestimating him because he's already booked the fight with Alexander Usyk. So maybe he's underestimating him, and that's about the only chance that I think that Francis Ngannou will have. But it is a spectacle. It is going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
Before I let you go, I want to get your views on Conor McGregor. He's back in the UFC, drugs testing pool. Does that mean we can expect to see him in the octagon sometime soon or not?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's why he's got back in, right? So I think he's got to do 6 months of testing to prove that, there's not going to be any surprises, shall we say. 6 months from now, I do believe that lands on UFC 300. So that's not an official announcement from me, but all the timing lines up perfectly for a massive return. Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler. More than likely, if you had to ask me where I'd put my money, UFC 300, Las Vegas, what crazy event that will be.
Okay, yes or no then on the back of that? Yes or no? Does Conor McGregor win another fight in UFC?
I'll tell you what, if Conor McGregor beats Michael Chandler, he will fight for the title next. Simple as that. I mean, he's the biggest star in the sport. He's the biggest star in combat sports, let's be honest. He really is. Does he beat Michael Chandler? I don't know. McGregor's a crazy guy, and that craziness is partly why he was so good in the first place. But as we know in combat sports, you only really have one peak. He was a two-weight division champion in 2016, and since then he's had mixed results against very good competition. But can he reclaim that kind of greatness that he had in the past? I don't know. If anyone can do it, it's Conor McGregor. But as I say, when you reach the top of the mountain, then you start to come down the other side.
I don't want to push you because I think you're a little bit tougher than me, and I don't want to give up that chance of winning the tenner, but you didn't say yes or no.
So you're asking, can he become a champion?
No, does Conor McGregor win another fight in UFC?
Oh, does he win another fight? Yeah, come on, man.
He does.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. Listen, I'm a big fan of yours, as is Benty, the whole Drive Time team. Very excited when we knew you were coming on. Can we get you in the studio before this Tales from the Octagon 2 actually happens? I know it's in December. Can we get you in sometime before?
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I mean, my schedule might be a bit tight, but even if we probably figure it out.
20 minutes. We're in Central London. It'd be great. We'd really be honoured to have you in.
Yeah. No, I'd love to. Thank you very much.
Michael, we're big fans of yours. Thank you again. Oh, just quickly before you go, you're a United fan, right? A Man United fan.
Oh, all right, listen, very, very loosely. I was never a big fan of football growing up. I always said I support Man United. I know they're in the toilet right now, but if you want football analysis,
no, I don't
I am not the guy.
No, you said they're in the toilet. That hurts me enough. Listen, we'll stick to cage fighting. Thank you so much again, Michael.
Cheers,
Thanks for coming on. Good luck with
My pleasure, fellas.
Thanks,
Take it easy.
There you go to one for Michael Bisping. Go and watch that documentary. Genuinely, I'm not just saying it. He's probably gone now, so he can't. But it is fantastic. It's fascinating, and the stuff about he lost the 9. He still fought on. The doctors didn't know about it. It's an incredible story. It really is.
talkSPORT Drive. Super opinionated sporting debate. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.